Hello and welcome to the Funnyfarm Pod special guest edition with my good friend Charlie.
Hello.
Always here in his fucking Everton shirt, which is brilliant. Don't follow us. And my good friend Ryan Stephenson. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm all good, Chris. How you doing, Charlie? All good?
Yeah, well, sort of ish with this fucking thing. But anyway, so.
We always have woe is Charlie moment at the beginning of the pods at the minute. So he goes on about his chest infection and his Everton top. So go on, give us 10 seconds of that, mate.
Chest infection is still going on. It's still an ongoing problem. It should be sorted though soon. I feel a little better today. The Everton shirt's fucking not going anywhere by the looks of it. I can't get any antibiotics for that. I think I'm going through loads of fucking face scrub at the moment because I'm fucking scrubbing my whole body of an evening now.
Do you think like the Everton shirt has caused the chest infection? Because it was you're obviously planning to do it before. The thought of your chest being wrapped in Everton colours.
We had the chat, didn't we, the other day after the pod, and you turned around and I'd changed my Everton shirt straight away.
Yeah, literally yesterday, mate. We were chatting. I think I was looking at some of the pod stats. And I've got two screens. So I'm looking at this screen, and then I just went like that, and he's wearing a different top completely. He must have got his tits out on pod, whipped the fucking Everton shirt on, and put a different one on. So it is literally. We've got one follower who he's constant. He's always watched the pod from day one, Kev, and he was like, it's not a challenge unless Charlie wears it 24/7.
Oh dear.
So.
I'm not doing
that is a nice looking dog behind you, mate.
It's my old dog. He passed a few years ago.
Oh, beautiful,
yeah,
mate.
He was a right dog. Gary the dog.
Gary, like what name? Yeah. Oh, it's sad, isn't it? But they bring so much joy when they.
No, 100%. It broke his heart when he left. I mean, he broke my heart more than any family member has when they've left. It's true.
I think with the exception of my granddad, Walt, who I've talked about on here, I think, I've lost loads of dogs. My mum and dad always had dogs. We've got our first one now, like as a family. And I can't. It breaks my heart thinking about living without him.
Yeah.
So I feel that. Without further ado, we've farted about there for 2.5 minutes, haven't we? Ryan, tell us a bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to our followers.
Well, I'm Ryan. I come from Sheffield. I've spent last 20 years of my life building a family. Been married for 10 years. I've literally just finished being a scaffolder, which I did for 20 years. Enjoyed the crack. Obviously, I met Chris on the comedy circuit, which I started about 3 years ago. I've not been on comedy circuit since mid-August last year. I finished on a good high, though. I finished with a good few gigs. But no, and now I've just recently joined fire service.
Yeah, brilliant.
You know what? When you're talking about being a scaffolder, then you said that's where I met Chris. I thought, fuck, I wouldn't see Chris up any fucking scaffolding. No fucking way. He's not like with his fucking cat.
I'm going to fucking tell you something now, mate. I did a bit of scaffolding.
Oh, that all the fucking bendy stuff that he had.
I did 2 days scaffolding, mate. 2 days.
You been up that fucking spire at Chesterfield.
I tell you what, mate. We did. My old mate Rob Jerram, he owned a company called Amber Valley Scaffolding. I don't know if it's still
rings
going.
a bell.
Not sure.
Rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah. His dad was called Merlin, which is another funny story. His name was Merlin, but he wasn't a fucking wizard. And he had a driving school as well, which was called. I mean, they were quite creative with the names of their businesses because it was called Amber Valley Driving School, Amber Valley Scaffolding, Amber Valley Driving. And my mate Rob gave me we just left school, so he just took over and started working for his dad. And I went and did 2 days scaffolding. The first day was great because it was just me and Rob, and we did we actually did put scaffolding up at the front of our old music teacher's house. And I'm going to be honest, the top of that, it was like a 3-tier scaffold, and I obviously had to go right to the top. And I fucking shit myself at the top of there. It's weird. It's not that high, is it?
I mean,
it's not
it is if you fall.
Yeah,
but it's not a death height, is it? You're not die if you fall, unless you fucking nose peg it into fucking ground, like you're not going to die. But I shit myself. And those fucking long poles, the 21-foot ones or whatever they are fucking heavy.
Yeah, it's about 33 kilogram each.
Yeah, they are. And I was only 16.
I fell off the back of a wagon and broke my back, and that's only about 6 foot.
Yeah, no, you're still alive, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still alive. It wasn't a killer. I mean, but that high up, it's pretty dangerous. It's a dangerous job, that.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I shit myself, and it's not the height of a house is not really that high, is it? It's not like if you're afraid.
It was for you because you shit yourself.
Yeah, I know. It was more than. It was because you're on a fucking scaffold, aren't you? You're climbing up and down a fucking load of pipe work, aren't you? Essentially. Anyway, day one was brilliant. We did that. We did 2 jobs a day, I think, and then the second day. Rob had this bloke working for him, so there was 3 of us on the second day, and this bloke was a complete fucking wanker, mate. You know, like, I was a 16-year-old lad, and he didn't stop fucking bullying me all fucking day. Do you know, like, he's one of them, if you were a bit older, you'd have fucking thrown him off the scaffold, do you know what I mean?
Scaffolding's like that.
But yeah,
that's what scaffolding's like, because the only reason I got into scaffolding is because all the other jobs that I had, I used to turn into often, if you get what I mean. So I could never get a job because I won't piss all the time when I was younger. So obviously I weren't turning in on these days and whatever else. So the only job that I could get into that suited my lifestyle would being a scaffolder. And it's exactly how it is. You start at bottom, you get treated like shit for years until you eventually put a belt on, start doing it yourself, and then you start speaking to other people like shit. Shit rolls downhill. That is the scaffolding game, but it's one of those games like where you've. I know it doesn't really make sense, but you've got to have that sort of mentality because it's a fast, continuous game, and the job's got to be done properly. Yeah. So how it's structured. It's like this needs doing. It needs doing quick. It needs doing safe. So when there's people not doing these certain things and it's affecting the job, it's just how it is, and it's just how the people are. That's the personality of the scaffolder. They're all wankers.
Yeah. I mean, it's our job as well because health and safety are all over you. I mean, if there's any accidents, you're fucked, aren't you? You know,
it's a fucking hard job. I tell you, from personal experience, it's a hard job. But 20 years doing that, fucker, mate, you must be as strong as an ox.
Strength comes from within. but
my word, namaste.
But no, it's more technique on anything like that. You can make the job hard. Like, there's some kids I used to work with, and you've got a 13-foot, 4-meter board, whatever you want to call it. And I'd have when you're stripping a job, you've got some of them carrying like 8 or 10 of them boards, and they weigh 20 kilogram a piece. So if you're carrying 10 of them, that's 200 kilogram on your shoulder, and they're carrying them and struggling to wagon with them. I'm like, what are you doing? I'll see you in 20 years' time when your back's fucked. Do the job sensibly with a little bit of decent technique, and you'll be fine. Don't get rid of all this bravado shit. It don't make you look any better, because I'll see you in 20 years' time. You'll be bent double, and I'll be walking straight. It just don't make sense.
Yeah. My back's fucked. I have like massive issues with my back now, and I've done physical jobs a little bit, but like 50-50 with me. I've done like sales and all sorts of different bits and bobs, but I did do physical work as well, and I suffer with my back. And you do see these heroes, don't you, fucking trying to carry more than they should do.
You know what? Well, I started in the builders merchants when I was 18. I was working in the builders merchants, and in those days, a bag of cement was 50 kilograms, and then they halved it.
Yeah, 25 or 20.
20 now, yeah.
25. 20 now, are they? They were 50 when I started. They were 50 kilograms, and you used to carry them on your shoulder. You had no option, you know. And you used to measure the sand out in a hod. You had to bag the sand up in the pits for that hod because it wasn't bagged at the time.
That's fucking 50 kilo going a fucking long way north with you, mate, isn't it? You're about 7 foot tall, aren't you?
Hey, getting back to scaffold, I've been over to China quite a bit, and the scaffolding in China is all fucking bamboo.
I mean, it didn't do him any favours a couple of months ago, though, did it? Did you see them 7 buildings that got set on fire? No?
No.
7 high-rise buildings, all scaffolded with bamboo. I think there were a little bit of an electrical fault at the bottom of one of them. Obviously, it's caught on. And I mean, have a search when you've got a bit of time. I'm sure it was China. It were Asia, China or Japan. I'm not 100% sure. But it caught bamboo and a lot went up. It was massive, huge. But it is supposed to be strong.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some like proper, 20-story buildings over in China with probably bigger.
I've just got it in my head that there's just a family of fucking pandas around television.
Kung Fu Panda.
Anyway, we digress. So, we met on the comedy circuit. It must be probably about a year ago, I'd have thought. It was at that boundary, wasn't it, in South Normanton,
yeah.
Yeah. And you had a cracking game. I remember you did really well.
Yeah, and I think you just come back, hadn't you? Did you just restarted again? I think that's where it was.
Yeah, I think I was a few gigs in. I'm not even joking. My missus and my mate Cookie came, and I think there was about 4 or 5 other people there.
Yeah, it was busy.
And it was, and I'm not even kidding, right, Charlie? You pick it was like a massive room. It hadn't been sectioned off at all, so you just like literally got this little stage and about 10 chairs in a. It was the room I got married in. I got married in that room. So you've been there, Charlie. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, was it in the hotel?
That fucking massive room where the whole gig was, where we were doing karaoke. That's where the gig was. Yeah. And it was like literally imagine a little. He probably put 14 chairs out, but about 10 of them were filled, and some of them were us.
I've done that gig a couple of times, and it's been similar both times.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't do it anymore because I think he has had it like where he's sold it out like quite well, not the whole room, but he's done good ticket. But the venue weren't helping him out, so. He's moved. He does one now near Heanor, I think.
The Marcus, is it?
That's the one, yeah. So what kind of got you into comedy then, mate? Obviously, we met a year ago. I started 15 years ago, but obviously I'd not met you in the meantime. What got you started in comedy?
Well, it were basically through mental health, recovering from mental health. Like I said, I spent a few years. Well, obviously since I left school, probably while I worked at school. Obviously, my mental health problems were struggling to know who I was as a person. And obviously, my dad was estranged to us and things like that. So I believe I missed that part of me. Having a dad around me to pat me on the back or slap my ass or whatever. So I missed that growing up, and it was just me trying to find out who I were growing up, sort of thing, because I was always up and down. Am I this? Am I that? And just questioning myself all the time. So I got into comedy because I was advised to start writing journals and things like that. Write a journal, write when things come to you, write a story about it and how you feel in the morning and all that stuff. But I was writing journals about certain things that happened in my life and things like that. And I'd read through them sometimes just to reflect. And I'm reading and I'm like, this is depressing me even more, reading them sort of thing. And I just thought to myself, why don't I write certain things in my life, that I've told people on site or my friends, and they've laughed at them, even though they're not particularly funny stories, but they are funny to me because it's happened to me, sort of thing. So I started doing that, and I just started because everything I talk about on stage is 100% true. I mean, like I said, I don't do one-liners and things like that. It's all about my life. And that's
Yeah,
basically what it were. I just started writing things about my life, and if I could add little bits in there, punchlines or twisting the story and things like that, and that's basically what it were. And I did a few gigs. I did my first ever gig for Laugh a Cake, Greg Phillips, a good friend of mine, Greg is, and I did my first gig with him. Simon Wozniak were headliner, and honestly, it were unreal. And I got home and I couldn't sleep. Could not sleep at all. The buzz was unreal. I even nipped at garage after I'd finished and bought me a bottle of rum. I'd sucked 3/4 of that and I still couldn't get to sleep. I was absolutely buzzing, and it just went from there. I just got a bug for it. I really got a bug for it, and I just cracked on.
that's me after every gig. You ask my missus, she's like, "You're not going to come to bed yet, are you?" And I got in at about. I picked Ollie Oakley up last night. Well, she came here and I took her to the gig. By the way, any promoters that see this podcast, book Ollie. She's great. She's Nottingham based, looking for gigs, and she's cracking. But like, I got in at midnight, and I was just there's nothing that stops. It was a really great gig, and you just you don't want the buzz to end,
No.
do you? And I think like some of my issues with addiction have been that in the past. Like, so this is quite a good addiction to have, because like it forces you to think of more stuff and write more stuff. I think because you've got to get it out of your head. And like after every gig, I can't go to sleep. You know, like people say, I've come home from work and I've got to wind down. Be a comedian and see what that wind down looks like. Because you've been on stage for a while. I mean, 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever your set time is. And you've been like the focal point of that audience's world for that amount of time. Whether you have a good gig or a bad gig as well. I don't mind bad gigs. Like, I still get a buzz even then. My first ever gig, I think like a lesser person would have just quit comedy there and then. It was so bad. I did a Spiky Mike Gong for my first ever gig, 2010. But yeah, it's mad. It's like, yeah, you just have to do it. And I'm doing Greg's Kiverton gig soon. I did one for him at another micro pub. But yeah, so the rest is history, so to speak, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
So did you do a lot around Sheffield and stuff
Do
like that?
you know when I first started? I used to message a lot of obviously people in Sheffield and stuff like that, but because I was relatively new, it was tough to get on them, because there is some good nights in Sheffield. Daniel has put some good nights on, Ollie Clark, just to name a couple, and it was tough to get on them. But at the same time, there's that many applications that go in for a particular spot. It is hard to jump on them. So I used to travel a lot at first, and I used to do a lot Nottingham area, a bit mainly, obviously, because one of me, I can't remember what gig it were. Oh, in fact, it was my first gig. Ian Whitcomb were on it as well, and honestly, he asked me to side. I still speak to Ian quite a lot. I really like Ian. He's a good friend of mine, and he when I finished, and he went, "That was your first gig?" I went, yeah, it's the first time I've ever stood on stage and done it like. And he went, right. He says, have you got 10 minutes? I went, well, that were 5, I think. He went, well, you did about 8 then. I went, all right, did I? He went, yeah. He says, when you've got 10 minutes, you get in touch with me and I'm having you on at Juice Bar. So, and then obviously from that, and I went straight into 10-minute gigs then. I mean, I only did maybe a few 5s and then straight into 10-minute gigs. And obviously, I'd done quite a few for Ian. I did some for Ben Davis, done a few for him. I were mainly around the Nottingham-ish sort of area that I used to go to. I used to go quite well in Nottingham, to be fair. But I would travel afar to get to certain places as well, just to try and get that stage time.
Yeah, I love Nottingham. There's loads around here, mate. Funny Sods is Ben's one. Begin with Ian later. He's so he's obviously moved back up to Scotland now. So he's living up there, and he's like, comedy doesn't exist anymore. But he's doing a gig tonight at the Cock and Hoop in Knots, so I'm doing that one.
Yeah,
so
well,
should be good.
I arranged to drive down and meet him. Obviously, go down and sit and have a drink with him and whatnot. But I'm having car troubles, and I've been waiting for a part to come, and it's on my wishbone, and it's been knocking for quite a bit. So I don't want to be driving it on the motorway, to be fair. So obviously, I messaged him, and I was a bit gutted, and he said not to worry about it because he'll be back down soon. But it would be really nice to see him, like.
Yeah, it's good lad. Sorry, Charlie, you were going to say something.
Are you still gigging? Are you right? Do you still get out there on the circuit?
No. I stopped, like I said, mid-August last year, and obviously that's when I went into my new career. And with the hours that I put in for my new career, and me wanting to concentrate on giving it everything, when I was doing comedy, my mind was constantly on material. It weren't so bad when I was scaffolding because I knew that job, not a problem. I could just crack on and think about material through the day. But with me having to take a lot of information in for my new job, I didn't want to disrupt it by doing comedy and travelling out to gigs and things like that. I'm doing my dream job at the end of the day now. So I want to put everything into this. I weren't getting paid from comedy. I were on some gigs, don't get me wrong. I would get some money from some sort of gigs. And I thought, my wife even said to me, you put a lot on yourself when you're doing your comedy. She said, I'm not saying that it affects your comedy and things like that. She says, but do not let it affect your career moving forward, which is fair enough,
Yeah.
you know. And I do miss it, but at the same time, I don't, because I've had a good time, and the last month that I had in comedy, the gigs I did were absolutely unreal. So I might return to it later on, but you
can do.
Some of my material.
I mean, it's a part of your life.
It's been material as well, because, like I say, I'm a bit of a Jack the Lad sort of thing when I'm on stage. It's my personality from 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So whether that's acceptable or not, I don't know. So I wouldn't like to take away from that, because I was me on stage, and that's what made me feel good. People liking me. That's the bit that I liked. I weren't pretending to be anybody else. I was just being me.
I was made up for you when you got your job for the fire service, mate. Because I can remember we chatted after the gig when we met, and I think you even mentioned it on stage that you wanted that's what your goal was to get in fire service. So when I saw the post that you'd put up saying that you got it and that, I was made up for you, mate. And especially, I mean, we'll go into a bit deeper. That obviously we talk about mental health stuff on here, both me and Charlie. I've got addiction issues, not drunk for a couple of years and that now. And we all have our issues, but it's like, for you to come from where you've come from, to get to like sort of actualize, they call it that Maslow hierarchy, you need like self-actualization and all that kind of stuff. It's a nice story, do you know what I mean? And you are genuinely a lovely guy as well. So it's like, it's really nice to see people achieving what they want.
Stop it.
Give us a bit of like, obviously your journey then, I suppose, from where you were at your lowest to kind of it, as much as you want to say, mate. Don't feel you have to like lay everything out, but from where you were, where you are now.
Yeah, well, obviously, like I mentioned earlier on, obviously it was discovery on who I was, how it all started. Obviously, my dad, I were estranged with my dad. I knew we were saw him very few and far between, but my dad were an heroin addict. Obviously, he started on stuff a little bit softer before I went on that. But then when he started it, my mum got shut of him. Fair play. And obviously, it were really strange. So there were always that thing growing up. Not seeing him sort of thing. My mum were always honest with us, so I knew what he was doing. So it didn't make it any better as a younger kid, like. But still, it were. But my stepdad, my mum got with my stepdad, and I see my stepdad. I believe there's a thing. You've got a dad and a father. They're two completely different things. You can be called a dad. Anybody can be called a dad, but to be a father, you have to give everything. And my stepdad he's my father. He's done a hell of a lot for us. I love him to death. Honestly, unbelievable. But when I left school, I left school and I went to work straight with my uncle straight away, obviously because it was something to do. But I mean, my uncle weren't the best role model for me. Um, Obviously, when I was a little bit younger, started getting into a bit of trouble with law and things like that. Started dabbling in narcotics and stuff like that, which it was fake fun. I was probably masking things. Don't get me wrong, I did have fun, but it was fake fun.
Yeah.
And that happened. I used to be a bit of a raver, at weekends and things like that. And again, going out full weekends, just getting blasted. Now I do now that I was covering something for something. I was having this fun to try and cover something. Uh, and then I met my wife 18 years ago. It's his 10-year wedding anniversary this year, which is unbelievable. But when I met my wife and my kids were on way, that's when things had to change. Because not long since just before meeting my wife, ended up in Nick, only on remand. I never got sentenced and stuff like that. But that was the worst place that I've ever been in my life. I only spent about 4 days in there, at Glenparva at Leicester, youth offenders. Yeah, rough. It was horrible. It was just a place that when obviously I thought I was a smart ass and this, that, and other, getting arrested. Oh yeah, telling old mate, I got locked up last night and this, that, and other. But when I went into that place, honestly, my ass fell out, and I'm like, this ain't for me. Honestly, I was terrified. I really were. So obviously, when I met my wife and the kids started to be coming on way, that's when I had to put my ideas up and change. But that's when a lot, sort of not necessarily massive mental health issues, but that's when my mind started playing over a bit because I was trying to get away from being that person into somebody new, and I was trying to keep the happy medium of enjoying myself still while trying to be a parent and an husband and and this, that, and other. So it were always highs and lows, going on, and that did me no good because I'm like, yeah, but I want to have fun and I deserve to have a drink and this, that, and other. No, but you shouldn't be doing that. It was that constantly for years, just trying to even it out. I mean, you can even it out if you do it right, but
You're like holding on to it, aren't you? It's like
Yeah.
this resonates with me so much. It's because obviously the first thing that resonated with me was that I'm a stepdad, so my two kids are a step, but you don't tell them that because they kick off like fuck if you do. They're 20 now. I was at the birth of the second one, so like I've been there since day one. They've not seen the real dad since like Sophie, my youngest, was two weeks old, so that he's a prick, and he's gone. So obviously good. And so that was the first thing that resonated. But this, like, my dad always said to me years ago, he said, the problem with you, son, is you never want that party to end. And even like having wife, kids, you still never want that party to end, do you? And it's real hard work to kind of break that chain.
I think it's like I think it's just like a bloke's a young lad's mentality.
Yeah.
So it depended upon what way you grew up. I mean, I grew up on a council estate in Kilmarsh at Derbyshire. That's where I grew up. It were all close knit. Everybody were very similar, and it would. I think it's just that mentality. I mean, me now. I mean, I'm 38 years old. I still believe. I think in my head, I still act about 18. Like I say, it's that thing to let go of.
That makes three of us, mate.
Yeah. You'll always have that. You'll always have that. And I think you're talking about like your problems and stuff. You always, I mean, carry them around. I mean, I know I do. I've got like this big bag of shit that I can't get rid of. And it's hard, sometimes, and it's hard to fucking cope with it, isn't it?
It's colostomy, that is.
But
Actually,
it is. I'm at that age. I'm at that age now, mate. Yeah. It is. I actually wear the pads. It's easy. I can just shit it in now, mate. Can't I?
we can see the bag of shit you're wearing, mate.
Oh, yeah. I'll just look at shit jokes in here now, isn't it?
Fucking toffee.
That's to mute yourself while I have a coughing fit.
Oh, he's muting himself, look. I swear to God he's going to die on this pod from coughing. He's been terrible. Like
the things I do with it, you probably get more fucking followers.
I was going to say good content.
Content, wasn't it? You know what? Like we'll come off because we've started a new format where we do half an hour pods, and I swear to God, all the way through the pod, he's like, "Don't cough, don't cough, don't cough," and then as minute we press stop, he's like, "Unreal." Here he goes again. Look, here he goes again. Don't make him laugh. That's the key.
That's I've been having to hold my laughs in the last week. I finished my antibiotics today anyway, so hopefully I don't know if that means anything or not.
That's good. You just become like a rattling tablet thing, don't you? When you get to our age, I'm but 4 tablets a day now. It builds up, doesn't it?
Oh, well, look at the suppositories, and then sticking a fucking marigold up my arse every morning.
I don't know. So that experience that you had then with Parva, was that like a wake up call then? Was that like a smack in the face? I need to change.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It like I thought I was quite clever, you know. I thought, yeah, I've got this about me, and I went in there, but some people in there just full of scumbags. It really weren't, and I thought, no, this is not who I am, sort of thing. I don't want to be going into these places, and especially how ill I made my family as well. I mean, my mum were really run down and things like that, and I thought, this is not what I'm about. You know, and it's like me saying, people always told me you'll end up like your dad. You know, obviously with the way I used to act, so you'll end up like your dad. And I thought, when I come out, I thought, well, this is exactly the way that my dad used to act. People are going to be right. And I thought that's not what I want for my kids in future. You know, I don't want to follow that name on. So it was a bit of a kick up arse, mate, if I'm honest, yeah. And it had to be.
I can imagine. I always imagine, because I used to work in housing, and I worked on an ex-offenders scheme, so I managed it. And I can always, like, the smell of a homeless hostel is one to, like, it's like just you'll never kind of forget it. And I remember going to Nottingham Prison to do a housing. The 2 prisons I went to, actually, I'll tell you both. The Nottingham Prison, you walked in and it was like the homeless hostel smell times 10. And clearly, like, I don't know whether this is a bit of a sick thing, but I've always, like, I don't know, I've always wondered, what would it be like to be in prison? What would it act like as a because my degree's in psychology, what would it be like to be someone who's in there? And I've got a bit of a thing about true crime, and it's one of my hobbies, I suppose, reading and watching true crime stuff. And I did these housing surgeries, and I was dead excited to go and do this for the first time ever. And I walked in, and it's exactly like you said. The ones that I'm talking to, they're not the gunnies of the world, or the gangsters, or the people who are in there for a long time. Of course, they're in there for a long time. They don't need housing, do they? It's the ones that are going in for like twocking or drugs or whatever it may well be, and they're in for short stay, and then you go and do that, and you just think, and the people that I work with, I've got massive respect for, because they've all come from like a tough upbringing, or they've been mistreated by parents, or they've just had a really tough upbringing. So anyone who like gets out of that, the toughest bloke I ever met. And I've mentioned him on the pod before. I won't mention his name or anything, but he was a young lad, and he was about fucking 5 foot, tiny. And I was scared of him more than I was scared of anyone else, because he'd just been through so much. He didn't give a fuck. He would have hit you with a brick, mate. Do you know what I mean? He was one of those. But he'd been on heroin since he was 11.
Wow.
And he'd been in and out of all sorts of different stuff. He'd been on the streets pretty much like most of that time, no schooling or anything like that. And you know what? When I left that job, he was doing all right. You know, he was in housing with us, and you know, he was doing all the right stuff. But the other prison that I visited was Ranby.
I don't
know
not
if
too
you know
far
that.
from me, to be fair. Just other side of Worksop for me. Not
Yeah, it's
for me.
in Retford.
Yeah.
And that was literally like going and visiting Butlins. We did a housing thing, and it was like in a gym where they'd got like really nice gym. They took us over, and they'd got the rail track site where they were getting qualifications. They took us into the wood shop where they got people learning to be joiners, and it was like the most pristine factory conditions you've ever seen in your life. They took us into one of the blocks, and it was like the cells are small, but you know they'd all got TVs and games consoles and all this, that, and the other. And I think it was a stark difference to Nottingham prison.
Ranby's an open prison, isn't it?
It's not open. No, they've got. When I went, it might be now. I don't know. When I went to visit it, they'd got like 20 odd lifers in there, so it wasn't.
Oh
open.
right, okay.
Yeah, they'd got people serving life sentences in there, but obviously, I'm guessing it must have been like they've gone to what you would call harder prisons. It was a lower category prison than Nottingham, for example. Bit more of a bit more. I don't know. It was more. I don't think any prison's a holiday camp. I think anyone who says that's a bit daft, because you've lost your liberty. No matter where you are, you've lost your liberty. Even in an open prison, you've lost your liberty.
Yeah.
So it's something that I would ever want to experience in
horrible place. I'd never wish to go back to a place like that. Never.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you didn't do what they put you in. If you went on remand and then you've obviously won your trial.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Well, I mean, to be honest, Ryan, your story's like quite inspirational. You know, because you've gone through there, you've been to the lowest of the low, really, haven't you? And then you come back and you've got your dream job.
Yeah.
Now. It's taken you 20 years, but you've achieved it. You've done it. You know, things are only going to get better for you, aren't they? That's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's
really
well, scaffolding. Like I say, I've done that for 20 years. You know, I mean, I could have packed it in a lot earlier, but I got into scaffolding. I made myself a good name in scaffolding because I was good at my job. You know, I didn't end up being your typical scaffolder.
Yeah. Chris, tell me, your scaffolding name. Bend over Ryan, apparently.
Yeah. Bend over Ryan, she'll be spanning up your ass. but scaffolding.
Sorry.
I earned good money for scaffolding through years, and you know, and that helped me. You know, it's helped me get married. It's helped bring my kids up. It's helped take us on nice holidays. It's helped us me and my wife pass the driving tests and buy us cars and things like that. But now my kids are older. You know, my kids are 20 and 17. So my kids are older now. Hence the reason why when this opportunity came up, and obviously we're doing comedy as well. It's all been in the same time scale. I thought it's time for me to start being selfish. And you've got to be selfish in life for you to get that feel good factor. You know, I always care about my family, I really do. But you've got to be selfish. I always say if you can't take care of number one, you've got no chance of taking care of number 2, 3, 4, and 5. You've got to be selfish in life to push on and achieve things. And I say that to a lot of people who I speak to that tend to struggle. I'll say, start being a bit selfish and doing what you want to do. You've got to, but I've got to do this. You haven't got to do anything for anybody. You know, you do that out of the goodness of your heart. But if you're not being good to yourself, you're not going to be no good to anybody else. And that's what it were, and that's why I started doing comedy. My wife allowed me to travel about, doing whatever, going out different, sometimes 3, 4 times a week at night. She allowed me to do that, and it helped. It got me better, you know. And it's just like I said, I don't need to chase the money anymore, and things like that. So I took a little bit of a step back, stopped putting all the pressure on myself at work, and got stuck into getting myself in good shape and this, that, and other. And then, like I said, now I've got my dream job. I've never been as proud of myself as I've ever been now. I've never said that.
You should be. You should be. It's amazing. What you've done is incredible. It
No,
really is.
honestly,
Yeah.
I know that, and usually I'd go, oh no, 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 but no, I know it is. I know it is. Honestly, and I
Yeah.
couldn't be prouder of myself. Really, I really am really happy with
Yeah.
everything that I've done. Really am.
Yeah.
I think
And
when
you have to do that. You have to say that to
No,
yourself.
100%,
You know, you
I
have
think
to.
100%. But
You
I
know.
think whenever anybody struggles with addiction or mental health issues or if you're in any position of like trauma, you can't make anybody else happy until you make yourself happy.
100%.
It's impossible. You can't do it if you're not like fixed and happy in your own head. It's really, really difficult to make anybody else happy. And you've got to. It's an old adage, isn't it? But you've got to start with yourself. And I've had loads of therapy in the past, and they always say start with yourself. Like the journaling stuff, write down your feelings. If you can get it out onto paper, it's out of your head. Talk to somebody, it's out of your head, and then you can start focusing on looking after your family, making other people happy, and this, that, and the other. So it's like, yeah, brilliant, mate. It is an inspirational story.
I appreciate it.
And one that, there's not, I don't think there's that many people that could do it either. It's quite, it's like, it's tough going from a rock bottom position where you're banged up in Glenparva, which is a shithole, isn't it? I know a few people who've been in Glenparva. And it's not nice. The fucking tough people go there, don't they? It's like it's for real criminals as well. And to then 20 years down the line or whatever it is to be doing your dream job. We didn't say, but he is on call, so if he does have to go, if he's alive,
if something starts bleeping and my camera hits the floor, I've gone to work.
Top lad. And you said that like you might do comedy again one day. Is that something that is in the forefront of your mind, or is it something that is
not at the minute? I miss it. I still watch lots of comedy. I do keep in touch. I've not deleted any page, I unfollowed any pages on Facebook or anything like that. I still like to see that see some people doing well, like yourself. I mean, you're all over it, minute. I've noticed you're doing acting as well, so that's something else that you've gone into. But it's not in the front of my mind at the minute because the thing that I want to do is trying to write joke. Like my personality on stage is, like I say, I'm a bit of a Jack the Lad, and I would say that I would have the potential to upset some people in the crowd, not all. I've never had any complaints, because I do bits of material about my wife when I call my wife out on certain things, and I've had people after gigs say to me, "Oh, I take it that's your ex-wife." I'm like, "No, she's sat over there," and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that." I'm like, "You just remember that you're at a comedy show, sort of thing." So it's trying to write something, and I think for me to do it, I'd have to be something that I'm not on stage, which I can't really fathom out at the minute. So I mean, like I say, I'll just focus on what I'm doing at the moment. I still keep in touch with comedy and things, but we'll see. We'll see.
The main thing that you have to consider if you're going to do something in comedy is, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is it going to affect my dream job, what I'm doing, thing? If like, and that's like, I suppose, like a liaison between you and them and saying, look, I do comedy, I'd like to be able to do some gigs, and having an understanding about what's a go and what's a no-go. Because the one thing that does ring kind of true with you is that, fuck me, your life would be a good show.
Yeah.
Because it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, mate, and it's a happy story. It's a story of inspiration where someone's gone from where they were to up here, like almost self-actualise. I know, I'm not saying that you've done everything you want to do in your life, but you're in a very happy place and a very good place at the moment. And I mean, I'm a massive advocate that, you know, you should be yourself on stage. And I've agonised over this because I do some rude stuff and I swear on stage and this, that, and the other. And I've had people say, you know, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing that. But then I've had audience members come up to me at the end and been like spawning over me, you know, that was great. And, you know, you were my favourite of the night and all this, that, and the other. And, you know, it's you've got to, it's got to be authentic, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not one for writing jokes that don't mean anything to me. It's done me well being who I was. So for me to start having to write jokes, it'd feel fake. And I probably wouldn't be able to put as much into it. It won't flow as well. So I don't, like I say, if I were to go back on stage, it'd have to be me as I am.
Yeah. So what I do is, so virtually, I don't want to say absolutely everything because there will be some stuff in my set that's not, but virtually everything that's in my set is true to a point.
Yeah.
So I do a bit about my wife getting gangbanged. That's not true. Like, that bit's not true. That's a massive embarrassment on the story.
Hey, she sends me messages.
He does send in. But the start of that story, it's about a swing. I make out we had a swinging party. None of the women turn up, kind of thing. You probably heard it.
I'm sure, mate.
And yeah, but the beginning of it's like the kernel of the idea was we went out on a night out with a couple of friends, and Jane and the other woman were messaging on Facebook on like the public forum, saying, "Oh, we're going out for a night out with Chris and Jane, this, that, and the other." And I just put a flippant comment on there, looking forward to getting back to yours for the swinging afterwards. And that went a bit cataclysmic on Facebook. And my missus got some funny looks at the school gate. She come back to me, I think we're fucking swingers. And then my comedy head starts cracking on. So from that true story, I've got this story that's 2 or 3 minutes long now, that it's exaggerated. So what I'm saying is, in a long form way, is you use the kernel of your idea and then embellish it. That's where the jokes come in.
Yeah, of course.
So you don't have to go into full, you know, if you're a storyteller, if that's your shtick, then there's not a lot you can do, is there?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I had jokes like, you'll have probably heard it, when I said that I'm from Sheffield. Now, I mean, I'm not going to go into the punchline, but obviously the punchline, because the Yorkshire Ripper got arrested in Sheffield. Yeah, and obviously I talk about that, and that is the end of a joke, and that usually gets a ooh sort of thing, you know. But it's a true story, but it's the punchline that I add to the end that makes it a little bit iffy. But that's what I am. I'm storytelling. Majority of it is. I'd say 95% of the stuff is true. The only bits that aren't true are the little punchlines that I put in for effect.
Yeah, that's what everyone does.
Association, word association, or you know, just little bits. But like I say, I think it's my personality that sells me on stage. To be fair.
Yeah, you're a great actor. I really enjoyed it. So hopefully one day. You'll be back on stage.
I'd love to be, mate. I'd love to be.
I mean, sorry, talking about genius writing. Are we going to do the segment? Are we doing it?
What, sorry?
Are we doing it, Chris? The segment?
Yeah.
Right? Are we going to do that now? Have you listened to the pod, Ryan? Have you listened to the pod?
I just wanted to
before. We always wrap up on a certain thing, so we'll do that in a minute, Charlie. Fuck me.
I'm getting eager.
He's like premature ejaculation over there.
I thought you've totally forgotten about it. I was thinking, hang on.
I'm not forgotten.
What's going on? The symbols and the monkeys are in my mind, clicking away here.
Basically, in a minute, I'm gonna spoil it a little bit, Ryan, but you're gonna hear the world's worst jingle in a minute.
Oh, fuck off.
Anyway, so Ryan, comedian, dad, partner, husband, top lad. What's like the aspirations moving forward now? What's like, because you've moved forward so far in your life. What's what's the end? What's the goal next? What's your big thing on the bucket list?
To be honest, I mean, I don't want for much. And like I said, my kids are older now, so I mean, eventually at some point, like I had kids young, so eventually at some point, I mean, my wife's not all that keen, but you know, we're going to be looking at having grandkids for the next few years, I should imagine. So I mean, I sort of like looking forward to that. I know I'm still quite young for that, but yeah, but mainly for me, my kids are older now, so it's mainly for me and my wife to do things together, travel, you know, go to different places and just me and my wife spend time together. I know it's not thingy, but I just want me and my wife to just enjoy a sense. Do you know what I mean? And just holidays when we want, going away, just have a nice life. You know, we've got many years left, so just to have a nice life. That's basically it.
That's a beautiful way of putting that. You know, to say that your bucket list is to have a lovely life with your wife and kids and grandkids. I don't think there's anything better than that, mate.
I've done loads. I've done loads in my life already. You know, I've partied. You know, I've been to the bottom. You know, I've come to the top. You know, I've played football. I've boxed. I've done comedy. I've done all sorts. So I mean, just have a nice life. That's all I want. A nice life. That's it.
Right. Well, thanks for coming on, mate.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that.
You've definitely been inspirational.
Definitely. Yeah, it's been lovely, mate. Now, Challenge Charlie, as is his new nickname, is going to end the show now.
Right on.
Right, so you're obviously listening to the pod. Have you heard Animal Showdown?
No,
Everybody's
no.
He's never listened to an episode.
I watched a few. I always put them on when I get in bed.
Right,
sleep by the time the show down.
Don't sweat this out. Don't sweat this out. But anyway, you're going to listen to. You will be played now with jingle, which is absolutely brilliant. And
then Charlie's going to finish the show.
It's self-explanatory. Right, here we go.
Welcome to the Funny Farm. The lads are back causing harm, talking shite but full of charm. It's the Funny Farm Showdown.
And welcome to this week's Funny Farm Showdown. And today's subject is animals which are most likely to become firefighters. So you got to think of an animal now, Ryan.
Elephant.
I'm going to say elephant.
Elephant.
You can't just shout out. You're going to get disqualified. Ryan was going first.
I've owned it, mate. I've owned it. It's an elephant. And the reason it's a fucking elephant...
We know why it's a trunk. Well, listen. Oh, because of my big ears.
No, the reason it's an elephant, mate, is because the only other one that I would have been able to come up with would have been a monkey, wouldn't it? Climbing ladders and fucking going, you know, into small crevices and all that kind of stuff. And he's banned me from having monkeys, Ryan. He won't let me have monkeys.
He says a monkey every week, some sort of primate every week. So, Ryan, you're first. If you want to choose elephant, you can do.
Have it, Ryan. Have it. Because you could say a fucking cockatoo and I won't win.
Listen, I was going to say elephant. I was thinking a water-based animal, but I mean a water-based animal is going to be no good for fires, aren't they? So you need something that can hold a lot of water, walks on land, has the perfect bit of media to spray the water. I'll go elephant.
Good choice.
Mate,
Good choice. I like your logic, Ryan.
You could have said mouse, Ryan. And I'd have gone elephant, hosepipe, all that. I'd have gone, well, actually, mate, fucking, I think it's a fucking mouse. Because Chris can't win. I'm sat here in my fucking Everton shit. You're not fucking winning. Fuck off! I'm going to go with mouse. Because a mouse is really good at getting into small crevicey places and it can get in to rescue people.
You can't have mouse. You've had mouse before.
Mind you, a good one to have on that effect is as a dog, because my dog at the minute is doing nothing but dig my fucking garden up.
Yeah. Anyway, Ryan obviously wins that one this week. Well done, Ryan. But no, honestly, you've been inspirational today coming on.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You've got a really, really good story, honestly. All right, Chris.
Hey, great, mate, and it's lovely to.
It's lovely to join you. And you know what? Somebody always said, you'll always end up on Funny Farm. In the Funny Farm. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the inspiration for the name, mate. That we could both be, or who was with us, we could all be in the Funny Farm.
I made it, Mum.
Brilliant stuff. Right, well, we better let you get back to the on-call. If you want to get in touch with us, guys, it's hello@funnyfarmpod.co.uk. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, fucking Spotify, Twitter, everywhere, aren't we, mate? We're like dog shit.
Yeah. We're everywhere. Everywhere. We're still not fucking following us.
You could go to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, everything before Facebook.
That's what's happening at the moment, funny enough.
Keep him in that Everton shirt. So I don't know if you've watched or listened, Ryan, but Charlie's in the Everton shirt until we hit 1,000 followers.
I've seen it, yeah.
If it happens before the end of this month, so there's only 10, 11 days, then he has to wear it until we get to 5,000 followers. And then I have to don a Derby County shirt then for a month.
Not for a month, until we get to 100,000 followers.
Next month, mate.
100,000.
You set your own parameters, mate. On the dot of the month of me wearing Derby shit, it'd be in the burning bin of my back garden, mate. I'm fucking telling you. Sheep shagging bastards. Anyway, you sheep shaggers out there, if you want to see me in a Derby shirt, mate, you need to be following us. So get doing it. I look forward to buying that. I'm going to video myself going to Pride Park shop and buying a Derby County shirt. So yeah, it's not good. And this is Charlie's fault. I don't want to do it. It's Charlie's fault. For me, just keep him in the fucking Everton shirt for the rest of his life. Coughing, it won't be that long. Anyway, follow us, like us, subscribe to us, whatever it is on whatever platform it is. It's been beautiful having Ryan on today. Beautiful seeing Charlie in his Everton shirt.
Don't go anywhere at the end, by the way. We never told you that at the start. But yeah, don't go anywhere.
What a great end to the pod that is.
Yeah.
We love you. Bye-bye. See you soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye.